In this video, we're going to continue with section 4.2, properties of special triangles, and we're going to look at these four examples finding the measure of angle F. So for example A, what we notice here is that we have two congruent sides marked here, so we know that the triangle is isosceles, and we know if a triangle is isosceles it has two congruent sides and it also has two congruent angles. And the angles that are congruent are the ones that are opposite the sides. So if I draw some arrows here that go opposite the two sides, these would be the two angles that are congruent to each other. So we know that since segment GF is congruent to segment GH, angle F will be congruent to angle H. Okay? Therefore, angle F is going to be 65 degrees. Okay, it's going to be the same as angle H. Alright, moving on to part B. As usual, if you need to pause or rewind, feel free to do that if the video is going a little too fast for you. Alright, so again, let's take a look at the tick marks and see what we've got here. I can see that I have three sides that are congruent. Since all three sides are congruent, I know that the triangle is equilateral, and I know that if all the sides are congruent, I know that all the angles are congruent, because an equilateral triangle is also equiangular. Therefore, X, which is the measure of angle F, is going to be 60 degrees. So you're going to want to get into the habit anytime you see an equilateral triangle or an equiangular triangle, just to know that the sides are congruent and all the angles have to be 60. Alright, then for part C, again we see that the triangle is equilateral, which means it has to also be equiangular, which means that each of the angles has to be 60 degrees. Okay, again, if you remember, if we let all these be x because we know they have to be equal, then x plus x plus x would be 180, because we know that the sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is 180. So 3x would be 180 dividing by 3, and we get x is 60. Okay, just a little reminder of how we get that 60 degree angle. And moving on to part D, let's see what we notice. We've got two congruent sides, so the triangle is isosceles. Again, if it has two congruent sides, then the angles opposite them are also congruent. Okay, so that means that the measure of angle H is equal to 50 degrees. Now if we want to find the measure of F, let's put an x in there. I know that x plus 50 from angle G plus 50 from angle H has to be 180, because the sum of the angles in the triangle is always 180. So x plus 100 is equal to 180. Subtract 100 from both sides, and we get that x, which is also the measure of angle F, is going to be 80 degrees. Alright, so again, if you need to rewind to review any of the examples, feel free to do that. And as always, make sure you're asking questions when you need to, and we'll see you in the next video.